The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
What's up, everybody? Hey, we're back. Bare Knuckles Most Wanted feels good. How you doing, Matt?
I'm great.
He is great. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. We missed doing this, but hey, just wanted to take a quick second. We've got some really great guests actually already in our green room, just hanging out, waiting, and I know you guys are ready to see them. But just wanted to give a little precursor and sort of a disclaimer about what we're going to talk about. First, I just want to say that in no way are we here to throw shade on anybody, and in no way are we here to speak with animus toward the LGBT community or BKFC or anybody with a different opinion. This is just a discussion, and I think it's something that's relevant, something that needs to be talked about. So here we are, and we've got some amazing guests ready to go. Let's bring them on and introduce everybody. We have Jessica. We got Jenny Savage and Miss Courtney Cameron. How's everybody doing? Oh, and there's Martina Kroll. There we go. The gang is all here. And so I did want to say we were supposed to have one more guest. If you want to bring up the graphic on the guest that will
bring
not
up
be
the
here.
Good graphic.
Trying to find the graphic. Oh, there it is.
The one with Jessica Link.
Taylor was supposed to be here tonight. Taylor Starling was supposed to be with us. I have a feeling that she was not expecting to get engaged yesterday when she agreed to do the show.
Congratulations, Taylor.
Congratulations to Taylor and She's really happy for you guys. And we understand that you can't be here. I mean, I know we're important and all, but but hey, so thank you guys very much for being here. And so here's what we're going to talk about. I think you guys all have sort of an idea, and I'm really anxious to hear what your thoughts are, what you think, what your opinion is, and I know everybody else is ready to hear that as well. But we do have a fight, BKFC. I say we as if I'm, and I'm not affiliated officially with BKFC, but there's a fight coming up: Christine Faria versus Usanacorn, and I'm gonna butcher this, but Taiwan Sawanawang, I believe, something like that. So this particular fighter, and we got some graphics. There have been some articles that have come out. If you want to bring up the first piece of that, Matt, and this is really what we want to talk about. Not necessarily this. Nope. There we go. So doubts raised over boxer's gender. So this story goes back to 2012 after a WBC title fight. And this particular fighter that is now scheduled at Knucklemania 3 to face Christine Faria tested positive for 3 times the normal amount of testosterone that a woman should have. Next graphic on that topic, please.
All right.
If my producer can get his act together. So this is part of the article. This is from the Sydney Morning Herald, because the fight, the title fight, actually took place in Sydney, Australia. And the author, of course, we want to give the author credit. Cameron Houston wrote the article. If you could just bring that up quickly. So after this bout, after this particular individual tested positive for 3 times the normal amount of testosterone for a biological woman, she denied taking any steroids and also denied the requests for DNA testing to prove that she was in fact not born a male. And so this is a comment. These are some comments from the ringside physician. Wow. and the promoter as well from that particular fight. So this individual, Usanakorn, is now 2-0 in BKFC. She's fought twice in Thailand, BKFC Thailand. So I find this really interesting. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. So if anybody, we can just kind of go around. We'll start at the top. Jessica, I know you have something to say.
Well,
Jessica Link, what do you think?
I cannot remember his name. He does the BKFC UK stuff and the Thailand stuff. The guy who runs all that.
Nick Chapman.
Yes, him. So he had commented on a post because people were going back and forth about this issue, and he came out and blatantly said that this fighter is a female to male transitioned person, prefers to be referred to as him, but biologically was born a female, which is why they are in the female division. I mean, personally, I don't see anything wrong with that. That's okay. I think each fighter should have the option to have that information up front and choose whether or not they want to take that fight. If you're in the same weight class, if all the fighters have all the information and agree to it, I mean, that's awesome. I think everyone should get the opportunity to participate in this sport or any sport that they want to participate in. And as long as everyone has all of the necessary information to make that choice, that's awesome.
So let me ask you this though. Is part of that necessary information the DNA testing to prove that you in fact were born a biological? So, and that's part of this discussion is where do we draw the line?
Sorry, it sounds like from those articles till now, it sounds like there has been something brought forward as far, because he very blatantly said, this is a female to male transition. Like he blatantly said that, Nick Chapman, and he said that he's happy to have this fighter on his roster. And granted, the overall attitudes towards this in Thailand are so much more accepting than here. Like it's so common over there. My coach lived there, trained there for a long time, and he said it's an everyday thing. It's not anything people have an issue with there.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Weigh in. Jump in. If you got something, don't be shy,
okay.
ladies.
So I know I'm at the bottom. Sorry, ladies, if I skipped you. I have taken some time to talk to 3 of my friends. 2 of them are female to male transition fighters, actually. Shout out to Justice and Sean. They actually told me that they feel like if there's any testosterone involved, that there shouldn't be a fight. They themselves have chose to not fight because they felt that it would be hypocritical. I feel like it's, like you said, it should be up to the discretion of the fighters if they agree to do so. But if this person is a male, this should not be allowed. This should not be permitted whatsoever, unless it's like, I guess, Misfits like, yeah, let me at them, and everybody's in agreement. I guess, we can have some Russian stuff go down, but I just don't think that that's necessary when we're talking about a championship, because then us women are under maybe the same expectation that we have to do some of the same thing, to prove our worthiness of this title. So I just don't think that's necessary.
Yeah, I don't think it should be able to be denied. They should be able to test you if they think it's necessary. That should be just a thing. I've had to go through a fight where, I asked the commission for the opponent to get tested, which knowing that I was going to be tested as well. and they denied it. I just don't think that that's like, as professionals, if you're going to compete professionally, you shouldn't be able to deny a request like that. So if you don't have anything to hide, like if you don't want that to be known, then there's an issue there.
Right.
Yeah,
Where's the
exactly.
controversy, right?
Exactly.
You said that original article was like 2012. Is that what you said? So like 10 plus years ago?
That's correct.
I also wonder if that might lean towards, someone going through that transition that's very personal until they're ready for it not to be. So maybe they just weren't ready to be open with the world about who they were. I don't know. Like, I try and be super accepting of everyone, so I'm hoping it wasn't any
right. And
again, I don't know. But
again,
this is a professional sport. It affects
this
others.
is not, we're not here to speak
Right.
negatively about anybody or their choices or what have you. That's not what this is. It's about, where does it become unfair? Right?
Exactly.
And
yeah, exactly.
And
unsafe.
where
It
does
is
it
unfair.
and
They're
unsafe?
fighting
Correct.
for the belt. It's unfair for Christine. I don't think she should do it at all.
Exactly. Yes.
I don't think she should.
Testosterone.
I don't think so. It's a bad idea. You know what I mean? It's very bad. And this person doesn't even want to get like tested or anything, so I don't think she should do it. And
Okay, very good. All right, so we have not heard from Courtney yet. What are your thoughts?
Actually, like, everybody's pretty well said everything that I was already thinking. I really think it's up to the discretion of the fighter. Christine's a badass. If she wants to fight this person knowing the background, then, by all means, go for it. I do think that with it, if there's a title on the line, something should be done, because that's not fair. I've fought a guy before, and there was a 20-pound weight difference between the two of us. So, I don't know. There's so many thoughts.
I've fought a guy as well, and let me tell you, the commission lost it after they found out. But no, I have as well. And I did that by choice, and I was striker, he was a grappler. It really wasn't a bad matchup. It was a fun fight. It was just for fun. There wasn't anything that was going to go on the record, but I mean, I willingly did it, and I'm sure there are plenty others who would if the numbers match up.
Yeah, and we should all train with men. We all it's not a thing. I've gone against jiu-jitsu competitions with men. It's all it's all up to the opponents, but I do think everything should be on the table.
Yeah,
I agree with that, and I think that in a situation where there is some history like this particular, and we're not just talking about this one particular situation, we're just talking about the topic in general, of course. But in a situation like this, where there has been a positive test for something that's unusual, and then a follow-up request for additional tests to dispel any thoughts that there might be something else going on, I personally don't see a problem with, number one, requesting that DNA test, and I don't think that it should even be optional at that point. So what do y'all think on that particular topic?
Well, I think the initial test, people need to realize the baseline would be different for that individual, because if you're female to male, your numbers are going to match more of a male than a female, so your testosterone levels would be different, and that should be expected. So even though it comes back different, you can't automatically say, aha, you're too high, because it's too high, but there should be a level of expectation, because if it's already known you're female to male, it should already be, you're obviously on testosterone. But again, that should be up to the discretion of every individual fighter.
So, but when does it become a bigger issue than, okay, it's up to the individuals, when we're talking about a title in a division that you have to fight in?
Right. And that's where I think Martina kind of hit it on the head. Okay, but that's great. Let them fight. But should it be for a title? Maybe not, because, maybe the person.
Don't have them fight. Don't have them fight. It's not fair at all.
There's got to be a
why
solution.
Should we have a male in our 125 division? I'm sorry. Right. But that's my opinion.
There's got to be a solution somewhere, because I don't think it would be reasonable at all to just say these people aren't allowed to compete. I don't like that. I don't think anyone really likes that idea. But there's got to be something that, they need to be able to allow them.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Go ahead.
Maybe they should have their own division. We have a women's, men, and then in the middle. So you can do, and the men and women can both go.
I'm just
I
going to be
think- I
honest
don't-
with you.
I like
as
that.
hard as I train, I am not about to let somebody that has higher testosterone levels that could possibly be a male fight for a title against. Like, I wouldn't want to defend my title. I mean, I love transgenders. I shout out to Lady Bree, shout out to Justice, shout out to Sean. I love my transgender friends. They're my friends from my heart. But it gets to a point where it's just not fair. They know that they're men, and they know that if that's what they're gonna do, then if they're gonna be men, that's fine. Identify as a man, but you can't be on testosterone. I don't get to give extra testosterone. There's men out there or women out there who take testosterone for just performance enhancement in general, and I'd be damned if they're gonna fight me on that. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's test them out. Let's just make sure for the title that we are, kosher on the testosterone part. I mean, if you want to identify as a man, that's fine. I mean, let's go. I'm all for it. But
Absolutely.
that's just too much.
I
I'm
almost
with
think, like, in order to allow these folks to compete, I mean, I wouldn't be against, if you identify as a male, if your testosterone levels are that of a male, let them fight in the men's division. If you identify as a female, you've transitioned to a female, you don't have the high testosterone levels as a male, fight in the women's division. If you have lived as a woman,
okay.
I mean, I'm not against that scenario.
Okay, how about this though? Because you have to also consider more than just levels of testosterone. Because when you're talking about a male to female transition, there are more factors that come into play. Because the in the developmental years, specifically,
puberty,
like at at the level of reaching puberty, the differences are massive. And we're talking about bone structure. We're talking, I mean, there are so many. I'm not an expert in the science of this, but I do have one more graphic to kind of illustrate my point. If you can bring that up, Mr. Producer.
Give me one moment. It's a separate area.
So I'm bringing up a graphic right now, and this is from Boys versus Women. Oh no.
Oh,
No.
Come on.
Get out of here.
That's not it.
Man.
That's it. Okay. This is the graphic. So this is from boysversuswomen.com. And this is a comparison of the records from the finalists from the 2016 boys high school 100-meter dash and the and the 200 and the women's Olympic finalists. And the results show the boys in blue, if you can bring it back up, Matt, and the ladies in red. So the ladies that were the Olympics competing at the highest level of women's sports would not have qualified to even compete in the high school boys national championship.
I want to present an argumentative edge to this. It get a little bit bigger than just adults in sports. If the governments around our country would allow, people who are seeing a therapist, people who are going to their doctors, doing things the right way with their children who obviously are looking at transitioning, in that puberty age, and they're allowed to use the puberty blockers to really make that decision as they age, that wouldn't be as much of a problem if people were more accepting overall from the beginning. As they transition to adulthood, they would better match the gender they are trying to transition to. Like, obviously there's crazy people on both ends of the spectrum, but if governments would just kind of back up and be like, hey, involve your doctor, involve your therapist. If you're doing things the right way, we're going to stay out of it. The edge wouldn't be as sharp.
I mean, as a mother, I think that it's important for us to just not sexualize our kid until they're fully developed. But that's just my opinion.
I agree with you 100%. I'm not a mother, but I 100% agree, Jenny.
Yes. Just saying, because if my son came to me and said he just wanted to be a girl all of a sudden, I'd tell him wait until he's 18. Just like a tattoo, just like anything like that. I mean, I wouldn't judge him. I just say, can we wait until you're fully there? Because I also have friends who maybe feel like they shouldn't have taken that decision to take those hormones, and maybe they might have regrets later on that they don't agree with. I mean, even my grandfather, I mean, rest in heaven, he's probably rolling around right now, but later on, he was like, you know, you need to circumcise your son. So many people went crazy. They said, why would you circumcise your son? Well, people have infections when they get older, and it's painful, and it sucks to get circumcised when you're older. You know what I mean? So it's just better to, some things are different, give or take. So I understand some topics are weird. It's just, as the parent, I don't know if the government should get involved, but as the parent, I just think that that's up to the parent.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The government should get out. So if a parent,
the government should get out of everything. That's what I think. Get out of my life.
Yeah.
If a
They
parent
should be old enough to be able to understand what they're
right. And if they've got their therapist and their doctor involved, the government shouldn't be preventing these people from going whatever path they want to go on. And I think that would be a big step to when they do get to where we're at. It wouldn't be quite as drastic as what we're seeing.
Absolutely. And I just want to take a moment to recognize our lovely viewers that are participating in the chat. Lots of friends hanging out. What's up, everybody? I'm going to highlight just a couple here.
If anybody wants to come on, let me know. Message me personally. I can't see.
I did see one of the guys comment, "Don't hate me, but guys are naturally stronger." I think all of us
that was
girls are well aware of that.
Yes, it's true.
we all know that, but it doesn't mean that we can't beat them at times.
So what's up, everybody? I see. I'm gonna miss people, but you've got Kyle Mish, Howie Atherton. You've got Bobby Wambacher. What's up? You've got, I saw DJ Tony, and actually DJ Tony said, bring Nick Chapman on. Nick Chapman wants to come on, bring him on. He can absolutely come on.
Just got to message me.
Just send us a message. My sister's here. What's up, Tiff? I believe my mom's always watching. So that's why I got to keep my language like on point, or try to. I won't the whole time probably. But what's up, everybody? And everybody that I'm missing, I'm sorry about that. But we love all you guys. Thanks for watching our comeback episode. And also, this episode is brought to you by the Ferguson Law Group. So our buddy Jason Ferguson represents a number of fighters in the BKFC as well as the UFC, and is, I suppose, the attorney for Fight Mixer Management as well. So check them out, guys. You will not find better, in the fight game when it comes to somebody to represent you on legal issues. Jason Ferguson is absolutely the best. All right. Had to plug the sponsor there, but okay. So I think where we're at is, there's not a ton of disagreement here at this point. I think that, it's just one of those things that you've got to, we've really got to consider what's fair and what's not fair, and there's so many factors here. When I think, especially when it comes to a title fight and being a title holder. And Courtney, jump in.
Yeah. So a point that I was going to bring up that I was thinking about earlier is safety, right? What we do is dangerous enough that if you put somebody in there with an unfair advantage that nobody is aware of, what are the long-term consequences for that?
Right. And then you might have to call it, somebody might need to call Jason Ferguson at that point.
It could ruin somebody's career. It could, break something. Like, I mean, women can break women, but you know what I mean? Like, getting hit by a dude, bone density is way higher. Like, all these different things play in, and it just really fuck your day up.
Absolutely. So in the chat, I think it was Nicole brought up a point. If you could bring her comment up, and basically she was asking, well, why not get Christine Faria's opinion? Listen, I don't speak for Christine. Christine is one of my closest friends, but Christine, what I believe she would say is, I'll fight anybody.
Mm-hmm.
She has said that.
Yeah, she made a post about it.
She shouldn't, and I don't think it's a good idea. And I think she knows it too, because we spoke to a couple days ago.
Our guy Justin Sims rewatching Joey Buttafuoco versus China in celebrity boxing. But yeah, Christine will fight anybody. She's never going to back down. She's certainly not. She's not she's never going to say no to a fight. That's just who she is. But now, on the other hand, should she?
Right.
Is there a point where you should, as a fighter, you should say no? And so that's another question for you guys. Is like, at what point in this type, like, put yourself in that situation.
Yeah,
you're fighting, you're the champion.
You're about maybe you putting your title on the line and you're fighting a dude. Why would you do that? Like, it's a 125 woman division. It's not 125 mixed division between men and women. It's just ridiculous because this guy, I saw videos of him. I don't know. I'm assuming it's a guy at this point. I saw videos of him, her. Maybe it's a her. I don't know. But knocking woman out and just taking pride of it, So I think,
and there he is.
Not do it until there is a proof that she's a real woman.
And so we now have the CEO of BKFC Thailand, and correct me if I'm saying that wrong, sir. We got Nick Chapman joining the show, and Nick, we've got a number of the top ladies in BKFC USA. And of course, I'm going to assume that you know what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for having me, guys. I'm just on the way to the gym, Crackheads as well, so just bear with me while I'm driving. But guys, I want you all to know I'm a huge fan of all of you. I've got so much love and respect for all you guys for doing what you do. I was an MMA fighter, so I missed the bare knuckle era. If I was a bit younger, I'd probably be doing it as well. Anyway, great subject. So there is some speculation around Usana Korn. I can absolutely conclusively confirm that she is female. I have proof. As for the articles in the news, there is a lot of speculation around them because at the time there was some issues with her world title defense for WBC and people were just trying to cause problems. That being said, things like the refusal to test isn't strictly true. There is subjectivity around that, but I can absolutely conclusively conclude that she is female and she identifies as a male. She hasn't gone through the full transition as far as I'm aware, but I do completely respect your viewpoints and I'm here to listen to what you have to say.
We appreciate you joining us, and I'd love to hear your opinion on some of the things that we've discussed as far as, where do you draw the line with testosterone levels, and here's the problem, I think, and you can weigh in on this, but if you add PED testing,
Yep.
For all fighters, I think potentially that's a big deal for promoters, and so I understand why a lot of promoters would not want to do that.
Yep.
But so how do you feel about that particular just issue in general?
Okay, so first of all, I completely agree with what you guys are saying. If Usana Korn is a man, then I absolutely would never condone this fight. I don't believe in it at all. If, however, she's during a transition phase and she is on some testosterone, then it's for the organisation to set a limit on what those legal requirements must be, and then we have to abide by them. So this is the discussion that is open at the moment. Is testosterone performance enhancing? Yes, of course it is. Is there conclusive proof that she was 3 times over the limit? No, there isn't, because at the time, if you watch her world title defense in Australia, they made her fight barefooted and the decision was terrible. There was a whole controversy around them really trying to cause her problems at the time because they didn't want her to hold that title. She fought in Australia against a very good and well-known boxer, and arguably I think she won the fight, but it's not for me to decide. But there's a lot of controversy around those articles, that's all I'm saying. And remember, she was a WBC world champion for 3 years, and the WBC are a pretty highly regulated organisation. I'm sure they know what they're doing. I divert. So to answer your question, yeah, I mean, if there's high levels of testosterone, then of course I think it's not fair. Unless, of course, the opponent is aware of it and agrees to it, then I guess it's a different situation. But like you pointed out, for a world title fight, I think we need to have a discussion about that.
Agreed. And so our friend Kyle Mish from the Mike and Mish, the Mission Accomplished podcast, is asking, he wants to know if there have been any issues with getting Usana Korn into the country.
No, we're going through the process of getting the visa as we stand, and this is how I know that she's truly a female, because I've had to provide birth certificates and national ID. So we are literally finding out this week on the visa.
Right, and I did do a little bit of research, and I read like an 87-page, I think it's 87-page document here a couple weeks ago about well, essentially it was a section of of Thailand's constitution that addresses this issue. And I am not a legal expert. I didn't go to law school or anything, but from my layman's interpretation is that you cannot legally change your gender on your government paperwork at this point. It's not in Thailand. It's not illegal to identify or live as as a gender other than what you were assigned at birth, but it is illegal. It is at this point not legal to change that assignment on your government documentation. Is that correct?
Absolutely 100% correct. And the government absolutely enforce that law as well. They're not, because obviously here there's ladyboys and there's what called toms. So effectively Usanacorn is what they refer to as a tom, which is a girl that wants to be a guy. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, it's illegal to have, well, you can't have ID that says you're a male if you was not born a male. And I have her ID, and I can actually show you guys that. It's not illegal to show it. So yeah, I think the issue of her being a man, I think that's resolved. I don't think there's any doubt about her. She surely was born female. But yeah, the testosterone thing is another issue.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so I think that, again, it's a question, and we're not just talking specifically about this particular fight. I think it's just more about the topic in general. And where do you draw that line? And what are the the absolutes in this conversation of this? Okay, this is too far, right?
Yeah. So I agree with you. I think you'd all agree if she was at least twice the limit of a female for testosterone levels, I think that there's a question that needs to be raised. And this is the conversation I've been having with Mr. Feldman. So that's something I guess we'll sort out. And we're not averse to doing tests and providing what's required. We've still got time.
And so what is the process? And just because I know there are going to be fighters that are watching live and that will watch the replay later. And just for the benefit of the ladies on the show right now, what's the process, to request testing from the promotion in this sort of situation? Should it arise for one of them in the future?
Yeah, so it's an unprecedented situation for BKFC. I think it's the first time this issue's been brought up. So it's a conversation I have to have with the big boss, because David Feldman ultimately will make the decisions on that. We are aware that some people are talking about it. We are aware that there's some controversy surrounding it. So I think what I'll do is I'll refer back to the big boss and let him make the decision on that. But I really do appreciate what you guys are saying, especially you ladies. I completely agree. But just take all that aside for a minute, okay? Let's remove any speculation about her gender, which I think we cleared up, any speculation about the testosterone levels. As a fight, purely and simply, Usanacorn versus Christine Ferreira. What do you think of that fight? Taking away any personal opinions on the matter.
I think that's going to be the only competitive option for Christine at this point. I don't think anyone else can, legitimately, I think our division is awesome. And, the 125 division is fantastic. But so far, no one has been able to even come close. And so I think it's going to be a great fight. And I love that you guys over there are giving Usanacorn the opportunity. It sounds like you're doing everything that you need to do to protect the rest of us. And just the fact that you're giving them the opportunity, I think is great.
I still think that this girl needs to be tested, though. I mean, this man, what they identify.
However you want to say it. I get so confused about, I'm so bad. And I don't mean any offense to anybody, but I will screw it up. I am a very much a, backwoods, country boy, and I have the best of intentions, but I might screw it up. And if I do, I'm so sorry for offending anyone.
Me too.
I don't get offended easy.
anyone that knows me, I'm for whatever people want to do, whatever makes you happy, good for you, And if they both agree to the fight, regardless of anything, because I think Christine would fight regardless. Christine would fight anyone. I love that. And a lot of people really care about making, only winning instead of just competing. I've always been the one that I will always fight whoever. even if they're at a higher level, because the worst that's gonna happen is what you lose and you learn. So some people just like to fight, and some people don't care who they put in front of them. So, and that should be allowed as long as both opponents are agreeing.
I agree with you.
And they're not pressured into it.
Right.
I
100% agree with you. I think that in my mind, where the questions start to really come up is when we're talking about a title, and it doesn't just affect those two fighters. When we're talking about a title, and this person potentially becoming a champion, a world champion, a title holder, world title holder, I think that completely changes the conversation.
Yeah, it does. Definitely, because.
So do any of you ladies have any interest in going over to Thailand to fight?
I'll go anywhere I'm allowed.
I got my passport.
There you go, Nick.
I think the answer is all of us.
Yeah,
all of them. There you go, Nick. That's our gift to you.
Beautiful places in the country to train. Yeah, have a look at this real quickly. So this is Silk Muay Thai. This is where I train. It's got a beautiful look over the lake and a temple. But anyway, going back to the subject, I believe if Yusanna Korn wins that fight, then I do believe that we should have her tested to make sure that everything's above board before she gets presented with the title officially. If, for example, the testosterone levels are high, then obviously that would be an issue. And I think it wouldn't be fair for future challengers to have to fight someone that's got high testosterone levels. That's my opinion, but I'd run that past David. What would you guys think about that?
I think that sounds fair.
Yep.
Okay, because fairness is what we're looking for. Ultimately, we don't want to put anyone at risk. We do want to put on entertaining fights, but it's got to be fair. It has to be fair. Now, if Christine Freer wants to fight Yusanna Korn and it's an amazing fight, great. But obviously, the title should be determined based on fairness.
So you said test after the fight, though, if she wins?
Yes, because we all still want to see the fight. I mean, you can test it before. I mean, we can do the test. That's not a problem.
You better test before. It's unfair otherwise. Come on, man.
Well, if we tested her and she come up high, do you think Christine Freer would still want to have the fight if the title wasn't?
I don't think she would want to risk her title for this.
No, it's not the title, but would she still take the fight if Yusanna Korn come up high?
He was right, probably, yeah.
Right. And would you want to see the fight if they both knowingly went into the fight with testosterone levels? Would you want to see that fight take out the title?
That could be a retirement fight.
Yeah, I would not want to see that fight.
I'll never see my girl fight again, possibly.
Yeah, well, and you can get so much damage, and men are so much stronger. No, I would not want to see that.
Okay. Well, I don't believe, and I'm quite an expert on the subject, I don't believe that testosterone levels would give her that much of an advantage against someone like Christine, but it's a personal opinion. I have information on that.
So the other question I think that we kind of passed over, and I really didn't mean to because I think it's a good one, is who else is there for Christine right now? And there might be a couple of people on this program right now that might be interested in taking that. So ladies, what are your thoughts? Like if now in the future, like is Christine just at a high enough level that it doesn't matter who we put against her?
I mean, our division is really diverse. I mean, you've got people like the other Jessica over right there. The other Jessica who's got, leaps and bounds more experience than I've got, but here we are in the same promotion. So, I mean, our division is so widespread. Like, I'm just now getting started with my pro career. She's already had a full pro career. So we're kind of all over the place. And right now, like, I don't know what weight you fight at. I know your last one was higher.
Yeah, I am definitely not going down because I fight at 45.
I'm not dropping.
I know
if Courtney, she wants to come up and fight me at my weight, that's
and I know Courtney is not looking to go lower. I mean, we're kind of all over the place. Jenny's a 115er. I think Martina, have you had one or two fights?
One, because I had to.
Like, we're everywhere, all over the place. I don't know if there really is a solid matchup for her at 125 just yet.
Hey, Rowdy Beck, if she keeps running her mouth like that person just said.
Yeah, that's
true.
What I mean?
She keeps running
Rowdy
her
Beck,
mouth. Why is that available?
Right. Like, let's bring it on, Beck. Like, I think that's good. I think
that would be a good fight.
Is right there, ready to go. I think they're, but the it's slim pickings as far as like how do you justify that fight, against really anybody right now?
Because see, Beck and Britain, I mean, I feel like neither one of them wanted to pull the trigger in that fight. So it was neither one of them really got messed up in the fight. So I mean, she could still fight Beck.
I mean, yeah, I feel like that fight was really interesting and I think that shout out to Britain because she executed her game plan perfectly.
Yeah. She won, by the way, in my opinion. But
yeah, and she did win. Yeah. But I know that was really frustrating. That's not the kind of fight that Beck wanted. Beck wants to throw really get in there and throw down.
Engage.
And Christine would give her that fight. I think that would be a great matchup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that there are just not that many people to pick from right now to where you can justify like a title fight, with Christine Faria, who is just destroying people. And and Taylor was supposed to be on the program, and we love Taylor, but that wasn't even close. And she was the best in it, that we had to offer Christine. Not that I offered her, but the best that the promotion had to offer her at that point.
Come on, you guys think that Starling's really a 125er?
She's not 115 for sure.
I mean, she's a great fighter, but she's
tiny.
She's tiny. I took her out in MMA, and I feel like she still fights the same, in my opinion.
I'll tell you what, a fight that I'd like to see.
She's a lot smaller than me, and my manager has talked to me about being too small for 125, and she's smaller than I am.
Yeah, she's tiny. She might be tall, but she's tiny.
I feel like Jenny Savage versus Taylor Starling is a great matchup, by the way.
I want it. Yeah, we both want it. We both want it. So, I mean, it's all about the matchmakers at this point.
Yeah, that's absolutely. On that comment right there. Yeah, find Borga more 45ers.
Yes.
No kidding.
Hey, would you fight Chris Cyborg?
Oh, yeah. I'll fight anyone. That's money. That's probably a problem for me, but I don't care.
No, I don't know anybody. Yeah. That's like a big name. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give her hell, but I'll try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think that you're all warriors. You've all shown out, and I do want to say to Jessica Link that I think that every time you fight, I see you get better. In your last fight, I think that that
was a fucking war.
It was, oh my gosh, that was a great fight. I really love it. I've watched it like several times. So and we love you. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were there.
Yeah. But the women's division is growing, and not just in numbers, but the fighters themselves are growing. And this is, of course, still a very new sport. And we're all still learning. We're here to promote the sport, and we want to see. Specifically, we're passionate about the women's division at Bare Knuckles Most Wanted, because of course, one of my best friends, Christine Faria, is the champion, and we want to and we love you guys. We want this to continue to grow. So what other Nick, what do you see as the future for the women's division in this sport? How do we continue to grow the women's division?
Besides bringing these girls over to Thailand.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the answer. Personally, I think we're talking about globalization. We're branching out across Asia, and we're starting to unravel some real talent over here. I think what's going to happen, you're going to see a lot more people crossing over from other continents, because look, to find someone like you guys, the way you guys fight for women is just incredible. I am an absolute massive fan of watching your fights, but there's not many women on the planet that can do what you do, bare knuckles. So you're going to have to accept there's going to be people crossing over. We're going to reach controversy in these current times. And we just navigate the minefield as we go. David's a great guy. He always says to me, listen, Nick, the one thing we've always got to do is do the right thing. So we're listening to what you're saying. But my answer to your question, the future of the sport is, intercontinental. Bring fighters over from other countries.
Oh Lord! All right, so I'm not laughing at your answer. Kyle Mish had a comment in the chat that made me giggle. If you can bring that back up, Pat.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So funny. And we love Mike and Mish. Go check out Mission Accomplished. They do a really great job.
Oh, it's a terrible podcast.
No, they do great. They're awesome guys.
I love them guys.
I want to see Courtney versus Borga. And I think that is a really interesting matchup. Why do you keep?
We have to
picking
meet
it
in the middle.
Yeah.
Savage versus Link, Kroll versus Kohler. So that's me. Like Martina, that's me versus you. Apparently.
Oh.
And I'll tell you right now, I can't come down too much. I walk around.
It's okay. I'm still betting money on me.
Yeah, I am too. I walk at like 200 pounds, so like it's probably not happening. And Chapman versus Seibel. I like that matchup maybe most of all.
Link,
I do gotta
Link,
say
you got
one
some reach
thing.
on me, girl.
I look just a little.
I do gotta say one thing in reference to what he was saying, that he didn't think there would be, with the testosterone, going back to that, with if she did have high testosterone, it wouldn't be much of a big deal with Christina. Now, from my personal experience, when I did fight someone that was in that, the commission denied our request to test her and everything, I felt the difference between, like, she was the strongest girl I've ever went with, and I've went with a lot of big girls, a lot of big strong girls and men, and she was stronger than a lot of the men that I went with. She was so strong that she's the one that broke my jaw. I have 2 titanium plates in my jaw. So, and a woman's jaw is thicker than a man's jaw, so it's actually harder to break a woman's jaw. So I had 2 fractures in my nose and a broke jaw, and I still fought her all 3 rounds. But I'm telling you right now, there is a difference between someone that's on it, that we found out later was on it, but the commission, it didn't matter because, at that point they didn't test her before the fight, so it didn't matter. I'm just letting you know, there is a difference. There's a huge difference in the amount of power and strength that comes along with someone who's on testosterone.
I agree. That can be the case.
Wow.
I've also had a lot of experience with it myself, and I've fought guys that were on it, and I've fought guys that weren't, and I've actually come across wrestlers in the UK that are stronger that weren't on it. But I agree, no, there is a distinct advantage there. I don't think the gap is as big as people think it is, but there is definitely a distinct advantage. But give me your feedback, guys. What do you think? Do you want us to test before the fight? I can get that done.
Yes,
right.
For sure.
I would think that would be the most fair.
But that brings up an entirely new issue. Is that does that set a precedent for all fights going forward? And right.
Only if it's requested.
Depends on the situation, I guess.
Yeah,
right.
It's only if it's requested.
I can agree. I can agree with upon request. Upon request.
Right.
But
unfortunately, it doesn't work that way within an organization.
Right. Right.
For the title,
it's
maybe.
Subject to the whole world requesting. There's a lot of people watching the sport. Right, I want to see someone win, someone loses. I want him tested. That's the type of box we're opening up here. But I'm all about it. I'm quite confident on the test, but obviously I have to run it past Mr. Feldman. But I do appreciate what you guys are saying. Do you think we should ask Christine and see what she wants to do? Would you value
Absolutely.
her opinion?
Yeah, I think if she,
Right. Okay.
definitely.
That's her fight.
Maybe that's the way forward then, because we do have an unprecedented situation here, which we need to manage. We need to manage it properly and fairly. So I think if we speak to the opponent, explain the situation, show the articles and say, how would you like to approach this? Bearing in mind, we're happy to do the test. If Christina says, okay, I'm ready to fight, let's just test after it. And if she is high on testosterone, she doesn't get the title. Would you guys condone that type of approach?
Yeah.
Okay.
If she agrees to whatever she agrees to, I think that would be, yeah.
Right. That's great feedback. Okay. I'll have a word with the big boss.
That's
See what I
good.
can do.
I just wanted to give that insight though, because it is, I've had my experience with it, so I wish I would have had that option and not been just shut down whenever I asked, because I was gonna fight her regardless. I was gonna fight her whether she came up positive or not, but she wouldn't have got that win because technically it's not fair. So.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's really interesting because this potentially could put a lot of power in Christine Faria's hands, because that could shape the direction that the entire thing goes in. So my personal opinion, got a little feedback there. But, my personal opinion is I don't know. opinion is that Matt, can you target that, whatever that is?
I'm
Okay.
trying.
I think Nick's outside.
Okay.
No,
I
it's
think
not.
My personal opinion is I'm not sure that we should leave it up to a fighter.
I was getting ready to say that. I think there needs to be a standard.
I think that in this situation, like now again, when we're talking about a title fight, because here's the thing, like, win or lose, if we're deciding, that the outcome of a world title and whether it's officially, presented or whatever, like, I think I think that's a little bit of a slippery slope, because then you have to take it into advantage of if Christine loses, and I don't see that happening in this fight, but I mean, that's just my opinion, regardless of whatever. I don't think Christine's going to lose, but if that, like, hypothetically, if that happened, like that is still going to affect somebody potentially physically, psychologically, seeing someone else take your belt. That I think that all has to be. This is just a tough subject, guys. I think it's a really hard thing to talk about. I'm glad you guys are all willing to come here and chat with us about it, but I think it's just really there are a lot of underlying factors that you have to consider. And so, Nick, I don't envy you being in your position, like when we're talking about things like I think it's incredibly hard.
It is really hard, because I was a fighter from a very young age, and I've always believed that someone wants to fight, they should fight, but I also believe very much in the safety aspect and keeping it fair. But also, remember, guys, if this fight does happen, which I believe it will, I'm sure we can satisfy everyone's needs, but if it does happen and she comes to Thailand, just remember, she's not there as the enemy. Okay, she's competing against your champion, but can we just ensure that she gets a level of respect, because
of course,
be her fault.
Absolutely.
The fight's taking place. She's just doing her job.
And Nick, I know that you weren't here at the beginning, but the disclaimer that I threw out, this is in no way are we speaking negatively about this fighter or about other folks that are in this particular situation. That's not the point of the conversation. The point of the conversation is just to get some opinions out and create a discussion around it, because I think it's necessary.
Yeah, we do. Absolutely do. But I'm pretty sure we'll be coming.
Very good. So, are you going to be stateside? Are you going to be here in the U.S. for that fight? If assuming that it happens.
I'm more than likely going to come. I'm still deciding at the moment, because I've got a lot happening in the Philippines. But yeah, I'm at this time, I'm looking to come. Yeah.
Very good. Well, if you're there, I'd love to have a drink with you and have some one-on-one conversation about this and other things. So, yeah.
I'm on Coke and Rose teetotal, but yeah.
So if this person wins, then let's just say Christine loses. Martine, are you gonna fight this person next? You're muted.
Yeah, I know, so I can't talk.
Sorry,
well, I would tell you this, if this person, because me and Christine talked like 2 days ago, you know what I'm saying? We talked about the situation, and I told her, like, she should fight at all. And,
so let me interrupt for just a moment, Martina. Your microphone is causing some feedback. I don't know what the issue is.
Static.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I really do want to hear your answer on that. So can we try that again? And if we continue to get a little bit of static, leave and then come back.
Can you move your cell phone around or do something?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. But I really do want to hear what you have to say.
Can you all hear me now?
That's better. Yeah.
Okay, well, I was going to tell you, I talked to Christine like 2 days ago, because we're friends and all, it's...
I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Shoot.
It's a mystery.
I'm sorry, Marta, but I really do want to hear what you have to say.
Tell her to type it in the comments.
Yeah. So Michael from the Mike and Mish show suggested go out and come back in, and that's what I suggested as well.
I've already kicked her out once, and it didn't affect. So,
but I want to hear what she has to say. But like the other ladies as well. Like if you ladies, if there was someone in your division, in the same circumstances, and then you get that title shot, are you gonna fight this person?
Yeah, exactly. That's my question, because who
Well, that's
else?
my question to you, Jenny. What would you do?
If this person was in my division, I personally would want them to be tested prior, and I just think that it's, I mean, like I said, if there's no question that they were transitioning from a woman to a male, that would be up to my coaches. I would personally say yes, because I'll fight anybody, but my coach would probably say no, not for a title. I mean, I think that as long as the testosterone levels are where they should be, I mean, let's just look at it this way. There's people in the Olympics who can't even compete because they were born a woman and they just have ridiculously high natural testosterone levels. Even they can't compete in their own thing, but they have people that are transitioning that can. So it's just something that is a little concerning. Like I forgot which one of the ladies said, but it's like, it's already hard enough that we're doing bare knuckle without, which is boxing without gloves essentially. So we could lose an eyeball if somebody has their finger pointed out, or, we can get hit back in the back of the head. So it's just something that I don't really want to compromise, especially as a champion.
100%.
Guys, can I butt in there real quick? That raises a really good point, and I completely agree with you there. But here's a question for you. Like, let's consider this sport. When you're in the Olympics competing at, I don't know, basketball, for example, as a female, do you think naturally women that gravitate towards bare knuckle would have naturally higher testosterone levels than other types of athletes? Because
well, I don't know.
We need to...
Sorry.
As I say, because if so, we need to set a limit and say, right, where is the limit on this thing? Because I believe female bare knuckle fighters are going to have naturally higher testosterone than most other women. Not massively higher, but slightly higher.
I mean, there's a range.
There she is.
Like, that is naturally going to be found in all women. There's going to be a minimum number. There's going to be a high-end number. So as long as you fall within that spectrum, it should be fine. Because there's going to be female to male transition folks who might still fall in that spectrum. And if they do, then they should be allowed to compete if everyone agrees. Like this fight coming up, if this fighter still falls within that natural spectrum that a woman could be in, even if it's maybe a little higher, if it still falls within that natural spectrum, then it should be allowed.
I agree with that, provided that there's absolutely no question that this person was born female.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Okay, so Martina's...
Yay! He's back.
Tell my husband I know they need to protect the fighters. The coaches need to protect the fighters because the fighters will say yes. They do that to me all the time.
I don't know.
Oh, where'd she go?
She's back out.
she's going in and out. Well, regardless, listen, we've got to wrap up the show. We're coming up on our time limit here, but I just want to say that I really, really appreciate everybody's input. I think this was a productive conversation. I hope that this provides some insight into this, for BKFC, for other promotions, and just sport in general. And it's just a thought that it's something that we do have to think about. This is we're now 2023. It's a different world that we live in. And when we're talking about in social situations, it's one thing, and in everyday life, but when we're talking about sports, and specifically when we're talking about combat sports, we have to consider safety. There are so many things, and Nick, this, but there are just a variety of factors that come into play. So any final thoughts from, I want to go around the table. We've got about a minute left. So everybody take about 10 seconds and give final thoughts. I'll start with Jessica Link, and we'll go around the table.
Someone give me a fight soon. I'm getting ready to kickbox. That's cool. Someone give me a bare knuckle fight soon, please.
Let's go, Jessica. Let's go. We can fight. I'm looking for
all right. The Black Widow, Jessica Borga. What are your thoughts?
That what she said as well I like that you guys were making sure that it wasn't supposed to be anything against, anyone that chooses to do whatever they want with their body. I do love that. That's not what we were here for. We weren't bashing. Right. I saw some comments, saying like, this is so disrespectful. That's not what our intention is at all. And you guys have to have an open mind that everyone is going to have their own opinions, and it doesn't mean that we're attacking them. So
100%. And I'm glad you pointed that out. Jenny Savage.
I was just looking at Jessica Borga for a minute. Okay, so
girl, stop.
You caught me. Yes, I love the LGBTQ plus community. You guys got my heart. Okay, we just want to be safe. We want to entertain you guys at the same time, and we just, we just want to be okay and just be legends. Okay, that's all we want to do. Okay, we could all be great. We can all fight, every one of us. It's just we got to do it with regulatory precautions. That's all.
100%. Courtney Cameron.
Ditto. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. Martina Kroll, what are your final thoughts?
I don't know if you can hear me, but love y'all.
Absolutely. And Mr. Chapman, thank you again for coming on. What are your final thoughts to leave us with?
Well, guys, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate all your opinions. One thing David Feldman said to me from day one, he said, Nick, we just have to do the right thing. As long as we always do the right thing, then everything's going to be okay. Now, obviously, this is a grey area. We're working on doing the right thing. Your feedback means a lot to us. I will talk to the big boss. We'll come back to you guys with a solution, and I'm sure it'll be the right thing. But just remember, we're in a new age. It's very difficult to manage these different ideologies. So, leave it with me. I'll speak to David. Thank you so much for having me. And guys, keep being badasses and flying the flag for BKFC. You guys absolutely rock.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. We love you.
So much.
We love everybody. And next week, I believe we do have Taylor Starling coming on. She was supposed to be on tonight, but of course she got engaged yesterday and is with with her future husband's family this evening. Taylor. Congrats, Taylor. We love you.
Love you, girl.
This is Bare Knuckles Most Wanted, and we are happy to be back, and we appreciate all of our wonderful guests, and we appreciate all of our viewers. And listen, we'll see you next Sunday.
Thumbs up.
Having a hard time going back to the gym after working out at home? Well, now you don't have to with the X-Bar. The X-Bar from X-Bar Fitness is an incredible gym alternative that gives you the same intense workout you get at a full gym with hundreds of machines. One X-Bar alone provides the same workout as a cable machine, bench press, dumbbell set, free weights, leg press, barbell set, and all these other machines. Stop wasting time debating whether or not you should go to the gym. Order the X-Bar to get a quality workout in the comfort of your own home.